Hello, dear students and colleagues. Today we are starting online lessons devoted to ninth form students and mainly to candidates for the national exam. The objectives or the rationale behind this is to provide students with recommendations and useful tips to help them deal with the English test in a proper way. As you know, the exam is divided into three parts, namely reading comprehension, language, and writing. So in my presentation, I will deal with each component separately to answer the questions of each component successfully. Before starting the presentation, let me introduce myself. I'm Mrs. Jihane Khelifi, English language teacher in Lake Banks Pioneer Prep School, supervised by Mrs. Lama Adwi, senior ELT inspector, and who invested a lot of efforts in designing the slides of this work, which I'm glad to present it to you. So today we opted for starting with the 2020 national exam. So let's start. The first component is the reading comprehension, and it is out of 6. Let's start with general recommendations. First, read the text a first time to get an idea about the context. Then, read all the questions carefully a few times. After that, reread the text and underline or highlight the details that could answer the questions. Focus on each question and look for its answer in the corresponding paragraph if it is mentioned. Manage your time well and devote enough time to each part of the exam. Please, time management is very important. Don't forget that apart from the reading comprehension, you still have 2 other components, which are language and writing. So you should know how to divide your time and leave at least 5 minutes to revise your paper. The text. Sarah Thomas started looking after her mother Carol, who had a brain disease from a very early age. Later, when her father Ray had a bone disease, she became his carer too. Sarah, who is now 18, continues to do everything from general household chores to many other day-to-day jobs. Sarah's earliest duties were things such as unfolding Carol's walking stick, lending her a shoulder to lean on to get out of a chair, and doing basic housework. Later, she started to give her father injections, do more housework, plan meals, and check medicines, as well as help both of them in the shower and bathroom. Neither Carol nor Ray felt guilty about the role Sarah had to play. I think the illness has given us advantages as a family, said Carol. Not only have she and I had much more time together than most families, but I think the illness has made me a better person. Sarah started meeting other young carers and helped to establish a local group for them. Soon, the group became the catalyst for Sarah's passionate campaigning for young carers, and she continued to call for better support. In 2010, Sarah won the International Caregiver Award in recognition of her work. The comprehension questions. Question number 1. Tick the right option. Please be careful to this symbol and you need to use the same to answer the question. The text is mainly about a young caregiver who had 2. You have 3 choices and you are going to take only 1. Number 1, help her father get well, look after her sick parents, or do the housework. So if you refer back to the question, the text is mainly, So we focus on the word mainly, generally speaking. So is it to help her father get well, to look after her sick parents, or do the housework? The answer is B. Look after her sick parents, because she looked after both of them, her father and her mother. Question 2. What does the underlined word in the text refer to? So you have as from paragraph number 3 refers to. As is an object pronoun of we, and it is a plural pronoun, so it can only refer to 2 or more people. Concerning reference question, you should read what comes before and after the underlined word. If we refer back to paragraph number 3, neither Carol nor Ray felt guilty about the role Sarah had to play. So this is the sentence before. I think the illness has given us. Now, if we read what comes after, advantages as a family. So the answer will be the family, or Sarah and her parents, or even Sarah, the father and the mother. That means Sarah, Ray, and Carol. So all these answers will be considered as correct. Question 3. Find a word in paragraph number 4 meaning nearly the same as. So the word is create. Create is a verb, and we should focus only in paragraph number 4. If you find another word from paragraph number 3, it won't be taken into consideration, because here they ask you to refer to paragraph number 4. So create is a verb from paragraph number 4, and the answer is established. Question 4. Fill in the blanks with only one word from paragraph number 4. Here again, we are going to focus on paragraph number 4. And for each blank or each space, you need to put only one word. Be careful. The article plus a noun are considered as 2 words. If you say a book, these are 2 words. So, Sarah supported other carers like her and helped them together in a special local group. As a young and, we have a blank, caregiver. Young is an adjective. Then you have and. After it, you need to have another adjective before the noun. And the answer is passionate. She received a universal, then you have blank, for all her distinguished work. Universal is an adjective. So what you need here, you have a universal, so you need a singular noun. And the answer is award. To finish with the last question concerning reading comprehension, give a personal justified answer to the following question. This question is a personal one, and you don't need to take information from the text. Would you be as caring as Sarah if your parents ever had a serious disease? Why or why not? So if yes, you say why. If not, you say why not. The answer, you are going to start with I. One possible answer is I would be as caring as her because I can never pay my parents back for having taken care of me when a child. Another possible answer, that is, you can justify yourself by referring to a proverb or a quote, such as the following. As your parents took care of you when you were teething, you have to take care of them when they are losing theirs. So this is the first component, which is reading comprehension. The second component is language, and it is out of 8 marks. Let's start with some general recommendations. Read the paragraph a few times to understand its context. Before starting fill in the blanks or circle, you need to read the paragraph as a whole to understand its main idea. Analyze the structure of the sentences in each activity. Then focus both on the form and the meaning of words. Finally, look for clues or hints. They will be very helpful, such as time expressions, tenses, or linkers. Activity number 1. Fill in the blanks with 6 words from the list below, even if you have in the box more than 6 words, so you need only to use 6. That means there are 2 extra words in the box. One day, my smartphone broke and had to be sent off to the warehouse for repair for a week or so. In the meantime, I had to use a really old and blank phone. You have a noun before the blank, after the blank, sorry, and before you have old and. This is an adjective. You have and, so in the blank, you need another adjective to describe the noun. So it is basic. So basic phone, just to keep me in touch with my family and friends. All I could do in this phone was to send text messages, make calls, and play one game. And I loved it. I loved being free. The internet. So you have an adjective, you need a preposition, which is from the internet. And I really didn't mind not having constant what? So you need a noun before the adjective. Constant updates about what my friends were doing or what the blank celebrity story was. Here you have the before the noun. So it can be an adjective or a superlative. If you are not sure, leave it blank and get back to it later. It was quite, so here you are going to describe it. How was it? We must use an adjective here. It was quite exciting and it allowed me to spend more time taking in my surroundings. So let's go back to the previous blank and to the previous sentence. So when you say, I really didn't mind not having constant updates about what my friends were doing or what the latest. So here, what do you have? To remember, the superlative form. So if you have a short adjective, before the short adjective, you put the, and after the short adjective, you add est. For example, the nicest, the sweetest. If your adjective is a long one, so before the long adjective, you need to put the most or the least, like the most interesting, the most wonderful, the least interesting, etc. For irregular superlatives or irregular adjectives, if you have good, it becomes the best. If you have bad, it becomes the worst. If you have many or much, they become the most. For little, it is the least. and for far, it's the farthest or the furthest. So this is just to remember. Let's continue. So it was quite exciting and it allowed me to spend more time taken in my surroundings and to see what was going on. What to see, so to see what was going on. However, as soon as I got my smartphone back, I found myself wasting my time playing games or checking social sites. Let's move to task number 2 or activity number 2 concerning the second component, which is language. This activity is circle the right option. I'm the oldest of 4 girls of an immigrant couple from Mexico. My mother has been a great, here you have 3 nouns, relation, dedication, inspiration for me. So we should focus on the meaning, and the answer is inspiration. I can remember when I was a little girl and we lived in Mexico. My mother's hobby was to take pictures. So it's just a hobby. She, you have 3 possibilities, hasn't worked, didn't work, and worked outside the home because she believed that spending time with us was the greatest job of all. So when I was a little girl, this is the past. So we are talking about something that happened in the past. We use the simple past. So we have 2 possibilities, either didn't work or worked. But if we focus on the meaning of the sentence, because she believed that spending time with us was the greatest job of all, the answer would be didn't work. If we focus on the meaning of the sentence, so the correct one is didn't work. But to support, join, secure us, my mother turned her hobby into a real job. Here again, we focus on the meaning of the words and of the sentence. So it is to support. It means to help us. My mother turned her hobby into a real job. She started taking pictures of family, outings, trips, events. We have a column, so we need an explanation. Weddings and birthday, what are they? They are events, of course. I was 13 years old. My father came to the US. So what is it? It is a reference, a point to a point in time. So here we need to use when. So when my father came to the US and mom stayed with my sisters and me back in Mexico. To remember some WH words. Who refers to person, which talks about object or animals. What, things, when, time, where, place, why, reason, and how, for, manner. A very, we have challenge, challenging, challenged, year, past. Before the noun, we need an adjective. And the adjective to describe year is challenging. So an adjective that comes before the noun to describe it here is challenging year past. It included overcoming many financial and health obstacles before we all came to the United States to meet my father. Task number 3, it's a matching activity. Match the sentence parts in column A with those in column B to get a coherent paragraph. There is an extra part in column B. Write your answers in the space provided. So be careful. The parts in A are in order, but the parts in B are in disorder. Next, be careful. Don't use arrows. Matching numbers with letters is the correct way. So Let's start with the first part. Good nutrition is essential for. So you can have for what or for who. If we look to the utterances in B, A is meaningless. We cannot say good nutrition is essential or for an unbalanced diet. Good and unbalanced don't work. B, grammatically incorrect. C, meaningless. D, meaningless. So the correct answer is growing teenagers. So good nutrition is essential for growing teenagers. Part 2. Unfortunately, here you have a negative word. Many Australian teenagers have. Unfortunately, unluckily, many Australian teenagers have what? So we need an object. Have an unbalanced diet. They don't have a good nutrition, so they have an unbalanced diet. Number 3, according to a survey, 1 in 4 adolescents buys. The same thing, we have subject plus verb, so we need an object. What does he or she buy? Buys fizzy drinks and snacks every day. Number 4, if they carry on, if they continue buying unhealthy takeaway food, they are more what? So the condition, here we need a consequence or a result. They are more likely to put on weight. So the answer is B. So here we finished with the second component, which is language. The third component is the writing part, and it is out of 6. We start with the topic. Most of the students are not happy with their school life. They keep complaining about long school hours, exams, homework, lack of leisure activities, and violence. Write a 10-line article to your local newspaper in which you describe the school you dream of. How to proceed? Read the topic many times and underline the keywords. This will be very helpful. Identify the genre, the audience, and the purpose. Decide about the outline. Jot down your ideas. Organize the ideas. You can use a table, spidergram, chart. Next, organize them from most important to the least important, or vice versa. Develop the ideas into full sentences and link them to get cohesive and coherent paragraph. Proofread your piece of writing. It's very important to reread and revise your writing to correct some spelling mistakes, punctuation, etc. So keywords, identify the genre, audience, and purpose. Most of the students are not happy with their school life. They keep complaining about long school hours, exams, homework, lack of leisure activities, and violence. So we are going to start underline the keywords. We have students who are not happy with their school life. So what you are going to write, the genre is 10-line article. The audience, so readers from your local newspaper. And the purpose is to describe your school, the school of your dream. So let's repeat. So the genre is the article, the audience, the readers of this newspaper, local community, and the purpose is to describe the school that you dream of, or to describe the school of your dreams. A possible outline. There are many possibilities, but here we suggest a possible outline. When we say an article, so don't forget your title. This is very important. Number one, the introduction. About 2 lines, don't make it long. Briefly mentioning the problems faced at school and announcing the purpose for writing the article. Number 2, you go to the body. About 6 lines. So you are going to describe the school of your dreams, the appearance, behavior of the students, teachers, administration, values, activities, etc. In the conclusion, you focus on wrapping the article up, giving examples, encouraging the readers to contribute to making this type of school become a reality. So please don't exceed more than 2 lines. Helpful ideas. Friendly and respectful students, teachers, administration. So against violence, against bullying. Extracurricular activities and clubs. Here it is the aim of every student. Modern architecture, stylish rooms, well-decorated, spacious and clean courtyard, sometimes with a garden. Clear rules, not very strict ones. Safe school environment, not dangerous one. Organization of the ideas from the list to the most important. So it will become, we start with modern architecture, stylish rooms, spacious and clean courtyard. Then we move to talk about extracurricular activities and clubs. Then we talk about friendly and respectful students, teachers, administration. So here we have mutual respect between each of them. Clear rules concerning the rules of the school, not very strict one, sometimes lenient and sometimes severe when necessary. Safe school environment. Cohesive devices. So you use the linkers of addition such as moreover, besides, furthermore, added to that. Please don't stick to one of them and then repeat it more than one time. Of enumeration, you can say to begin with, second, last but not least, etc. Expressions of contrast you can use, however, yet, nevertheless, etc. And to conclude, in concluding, in a nutshell, as a conclusion, proofreading checklist. So don't forget your capitalization at the beginning of the sentences for proper names, for days and months, for places, languages, nationalities. Concerning the usage, so the grammar, word choice, word order, they are very important in the structure of your sentences. For punctuation, full stop at the end of sentences, comma after linkers at the beginning of a sentence, generally speaking. Spelling, so read and reread, correct your mistakes, mind your spelling. So that's all for today. Here I dealt with the 3 components. Thank you very much. I hope that the content I have just presented will be helpful for you. I hope that the recommendations are very clear and easy to understand, and we hope that they will answer some of the questions that are still and answer it in your mind. Goodbye and good luck with your exam.